literally
Okay,
everything.
so this is an absolutely stupid build for Rumble. Like, think about
What are
this.
you guys researching?
What is it? What is it?
Acreus Sentinel? Yeah.
Alright, that's a silly build.
No, it's not even Sentinel. I mean, you can use Sentinel. It's Acreus
Oh my God,
Sunbreaker.
you're skating with Standicide.
I'm skating with Standicides with an Acreus, killing somebody, picking their power ammo up, making my path to the other side of the map with an overshield to kill the next Acreus, and always staying near like a corner to jump off the map to deny them Acreus.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a funny build.
Power fantasy.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus Christ! It's tryhard camera.
Come on!
No way! Are you?
Asshole kick strikes again.
I deserve 100.
Power fantasy. Power fantasy. Charging up my power fantasy. Power fantasy. Power fantasy. Power fantasy. Power fantasy.
Variant percent.
Power fantasy.
Okay, whoever that is.
Oh,
Power
weird.
fantasy.
So to state the obvious, I am not a fan of 6-man Rumble. I feel that power ammo is way too prevalent, and there's a couple ways you could go around to fixing this issue. The problem with 8-man Rumble is that the spawns were terrible. You would spawn on top of somebody. Basically, it was chaos. Chaos everywhere. But instead of fixing the spawns, Bungie elected to remove 2 from the player count, so 6-man Rumble instead of 8. I wish I was able to give information before the 6-man patch was implemented. I honestly didn't think it would be this quick, so kudos to Bungie for switching something fast. However, playing on the PC platform, you frequently run into 6-man lobbies, at least when it was 8-man Rumble. I always ran into 6-man lobbies because somebody would get salty and quit, or there just wasn't enough people in the playlist at certain times. And what I found out then was the exact same thing I discovered after playing the entire week of 6-man Rumble. The pace is painfully slow, and power ammo can remain uncontested, meaning if somebody picks power ammo up and is a semi-competent player, there is no removing it because you don't have power ammo of your own. The blessing and the curse of the PC platform is that you always seem to run into great players. This really amplifies the power ammo problem because if you put power ammo in the hands of a good player, they don't die. Or if they die, it's because they get pushed by multiple people at the same time, which doesn't happen in 6-man Rumble. In a team-based game mode, you're given information by your teammates onto what weapon they have picked up with power ammo. You see it in the bottom left indicator. Sometimes you get a call out if your teammate physically sees somebody picking up the ammo. So you always have a heads up of what kind of power ammo they have and the best way to deal with it. For example, if they have rockets, be prepared to jump. If they have a shotgun, stay away from close quarters. If they have a sword, stay away from tight corners. If they have a snipe, avoid lanes. If they have a fusion rifle, hug cover, and shoulder peek bait. Of course, this is all easier said than done. However, in 8-man Rumble, power ammo was less powerful because if you held power ammo, everyone on the map viewed you as a, quotation, VIP. Temporary alliances were formed just to get power ammo out of your hands because you with power ammo is the greatest likelihood of winning, and if you have a greater likelihood of winning than somebody else, they're going to team up. They're going to prioritize you if they both see you at the same time. In fact, they might even be shooting someone else, see you cross their path, and then turn around to stop fighting that person, and then shoot you. Or they might save their Nova Bomb, just for you. Having 2 more players in the mix makes it all more likely that somebody holding power ammo is treated as a VIP. 6-man Rumble, on the other hand, gives you the ability to run away. And if you run away, you preserve the power ammo, you get your health back to full, and you smartly re-engage. But in 8-man Rumble, this is not an option. You can try to run away, but you're going to catch somebody off spawn with spawn immunity, and he's just going to toss a nade at you, kill you, take your power ammo, and then the process repeats. It's too chaotic to have any sort of control over it, which is kind of Rumble in its heart if you ask me. If you want a 1v1 simulator, then I think Bungie should add a cage match. So I've talked about the problem, let's get back to solutions. If power ammo is the problem, or the amount of people are the problem, we need to solve one or the other. So let's start with the people problem. If we want to return it to 8-man, all that has to be fixed is the spawns. But if the majority of the community prefers 6-mans, well then, power ammo, I almost said power fantasy, power ammo is too frequent, too potent. So we need to do one or the other. Remove the potency or remove the frequency. I'm going to opt for the frequency. it doesn't need to be spawning up so frequent, and it doesn't need to be on two isolated sides of the map. It could be one singular spawn in the middle of the map. That way it forces movement from the outside. I'm actually cool with outside and multiple power ammo spawns, it's just they have to be done right. On a lot of maps, they're not in the best location, and if you have power ammo, it's easier to secure the next brick. The next alternative idea is to leave the power ammo potency and frequency, the current system, in place completely, but adjust the potency of primaries. So in other words, if Rumble stays as is, it would play better if primaries were stronger. I know this contradicts my preferences of the game, and that may seem weird for some. You're like, Cammy, you're a hypocrite asking for faster TTK even though you prefer slower TTK. That's not the case. I understand that the majority of Destiny players like faster TTK, and it just makes sense to be able to combat the frequency of power ammo. If the TTK is reduced though, I'm not worried about becoming worse of a player. I'll pretty much be in exactly the same spot that I am. It's just, I prefer a slower TTK. And unfortunately, a slow TTK and power weapons this frequent is just a conflict of interest, at least in regards to Rumble. In the other playlist, I don't see it as much of an issue because you have a team to work with, and if somebody got power ammo, it's because you got outplayed, not because you got a lucky spawn. I'll also put on the record that I dislike the ability recharge rate and the super recharge rate. I think it's slightly too fast with cooldowns, but maybe that's because Bungie's planning for something bigger in the future to make you maybe choose something other than a ability cooldown mod. Also, I made this video before attending the summit, so I have no idea what Bungie's intentions are, and even if I did, I would probably be under NDA. But here's what I think they're going with exotic weapons. I think they're going to make exotics a lot more powerful than legendaries so that it warrants the exotic slot. And maybe in that sense, we will get our TTK reduction. So to recap this video, I prefer 8-man Rumble, but I understand why the community wants it 6-man. But 6-man brings up a whole new batch of issues. Despite this, I gotta say, I really enjoy the Rumble playlist compared to all the other playlist options in Destiny. Why is Rumble not permanent? It needs to be a permanent playlist. What if you're a solo player who doesn't play with other people? Why should you be reliant on teammates? Of course, if you opt to play a team game mode, you should be reliant on teammates because that's the nature of the game mode. If you want to win, you play with your teammates. I get that. But sometimes, you just want to be self-reliant. And Rumble's the perfect playlist for that. And I swear I almost hit render on this video without mentioning that almost every game I play on PC goes to time. It's because most of my lobbies have good players, and then somebody gets salty and leaves, and it's down to 4 or 5 people. Majority of the time in my case. And the game goes to time. It needs to be increased by like at least 2 minutes so we can play out the entire game. So on that closing note, what do you think about Rumble? How do you like the playlist? Let me know in the comment section.